time. There were two Islamic shareholders in London who held 57% of the shares of the Barclays Bank, could have bailed Lehman Brothers out, sat back very happy and refused to let anyone bail Lehman Brothers out and watched the stock market topple. That's what was happening when I was in the World Bank.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Wiley Drake Show. We're just a little bit early. We've been having some technical difficulties today. We've had a mass exodus of my technicians, and one of them did get back in time for the show, but rather than trying to crank the computer up and try to get it going, I decided just to go ahead and do what I did this morning, and that is to come to you on Thrive. We do have the Thrive camera set up, and we do thank you for joining us today. Now, if you'd like to be a part of the Wiley Drake Show, we would certainly welcome you to be a part of the show. All you've got to do is give us a call. Now, there is one number at Crusade Radio you can call us on. I'm going to go ahead and call Crusade Radio and see if I can get us on. All right, Crusade Radio, we are on, we are up, and we are online with you. I'm going to move that over here so I can get the speaker there, but don't mess up the camera. Now, if you would like to call us and be a part of this show today, you certainly are welcome to do so. We've got about 6 minutes before we actually go on the air. When I came on, I was on the air on another situation, and we do thank you so much for being a part of the. Oh my goodness, I don't know who this is calling, but who. Well, we're just going to continue to go on this line and not going to have it ring and not going to answer that line. Ladies and gentlemen, if you call the church between 9 and 10 a.m., if you call the church between 9 and 10 a.m., we're on the air and we do not answer the phone typically. But also between 5 and 6. Now, I know we're 6 minutes early, but we indeed are going to go ahead and proceed with the show. We've got a lot of things we want to talk to you about today, a lot of things from Christian Newswire. While we're waiting for others to join us, let me give you some phone numbers if you'd like to have them. There are several phone numbers that you can use to call in here on the Wiley Drake Show. The first one is the 800 number. You can call us on the 800 number. Now, of course, you can call us on Crusade Radio. That number is 559-592-5961. And if that number gets busy or you can't get through on that number, you can use the 800 number. We do have an 800 number here at the Wiley Drake Show. By the way, I want to talk to you a little bit about that 800 number. We do not have an 800 number because we have lots of money. We have the 800 number because we have a dear, dear friend that set up some 800 numbers several years ago for his business. He is in business and he had those numbers, and he told me later that he was able to get a third 800 number for very little more money, and he decided he'd go ahead and get all three rather than just have two in case he needed it. Well, he didn't need it, and he was not using it, and so he asked me if I would like to use it. So Brother Lou Asher has allowed us the privilege to use his 800 number that comes in a package with his other numbers. Do we have a caller on the line? No? Okay, I guess we don't. I thought I heard a caller. Well, I've been on all kinds of telephone lines today. I've been on the line with my co-chairman of the Congressional Prayer Conference of Washington, D.C., Dr. Clyde Rivers. Now, I want to indeed give you some web pages and some things that I would encourage you to do. So if you've got your pen or if you want to go to your favorites and type these in, whatever you'd like to do. The first one I'm going to give you is the web page for our church. The webpage for our church is the First Southern Baptist Church of BuenaPark.com. First Southern Baptist Church of BuenaPark.com. Now you can reach us there. Now, we also have the office here of the Congressional Prayer Conference of Washington, D.C. If you'd like to go to that webpage, it is indeed Congressional Prayer Conference of Washington, D.C.com. And we would encourage you to go to that webpage and check us out. If you go to that webpage, you will see a picture of me as the chairman. You'll also see a picture of the co-chairman, Dr. Clyde Rivers. Now, Dr. Clyde Rivers has many hats, wears many hats. One is he is the co-chairman of the Congressional Prayer Conference of Washington, D.C. His regular job is to be the pastor of a church here in California. Then his other regular job is to be the ambassador at large for the African country of Burundi. Now, he is the ambassador at large for the African country of Burundi. He has that privilege, and we thank the Lord for him being on with us. I have also asked him, with my new duties coming up on September the 5th, which is just a few days away, I have been nominated and elected by the American Independent Party of California. The American Independent Party of California elected me to serve as their chairman. And so I'm the chairman as of September the 5th. Now, there's existing chairman in charge right now, and I'm not in charge. But in light of that, I have called one of our first meetings, not an official meeting, but it is a meeting. It is really a prayer meeting, and it is a prayer and planning meeting. And that meeting will be held on Saturday morning. It is also a time for you to come to what I call a presidential, vice presidential Q&A, question and answers. The America's Party of these United States, the America's Party of America, has indeed chosen Tom Hoefling as their presidential nominee to be on the ballot. They have also chosen Dr. Robert Ornelas as their vice presidential candidate. Now, I've known Dr. Ornelas for many years. We've worked together, we've ministered together, and he's a great man of God. And there's a lot of people walking around now, especially Christians, wringing their hands, saying, what in the world are we going to do? I can't vote for a Mormon. I've heard many say that, some very godly people. And I've had people say, well, Wiley, we can't go with the third party because you can't win, and therefore you're just giving your vote away and you're just helping Obama get elected. Well, nothing could be farther from the truth. And I'm not going to vote for a Mormon even if he could beat Obama. First of all, I don't think he can. But that has nothing to do with it. But I cannot vote for a man who comes from a cultic background where he believes you must have the proper underwear on in order to worship God. And I cannot vote for a man who believes that Jesus is a demon. He's the brother of Satan, according to them. And so I can't vote for somebody like that. I also can't vote for somebody who is of the opinion that when this life is over, they're going to go into the upper atmosphere and have sex with angels and sex with all kinds of different creatures and create people all over the universe and create their own universe and be their own God. Now, folks, I'm sorry, I just cannot vote for somebody in a responsible leadership position that believes that kind of poppycock. Nor can I vote for B. Hussein Obama, long-legged Mac Daddy, as my good friend, Dr. James David Manning calls him. I could not vote for a man like B. Hussein Obama because he believes in following a man like Mohammed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Mohammed is in hell burning for his sins. Mohammed, according to their own writings, according to their own documents, Mohammed was a pedophile. Now, they do not use that term. They call him a prophet. But in their own writings and in their own declarations, they say that he had babies with several little girls. And I mean little girls, pre-teen age. And so he was a pedophile and is a pedophile and is burning in hell for his pedophilia. And yet, somebody wants me to vote for B. Hussein Obama, who believes that Mohammed was a good man. I cannot vote for B. Hussein Obama. Never mind the fact of what he's done to our nation. Never mind the fact of what he has done. There's one man that's given full testimony that he had oral copulation with B. Hussein Obama. Now, I didn't say that. He did. And it's documented. It's in the press and so forth. B. Hussein Obama is not an American citizen. He was born in Kenya, Africa. On and on it goes. How in the world could I vote for any one of those two? Because one is less or more evil than the other? No, they're both evil men. And they're both dangerous men. And I would not and could not vote for either one of them. I would rather not vote than to vote for them. However, I do have the ability to vote in November. And I'll tell you exactly how I will be voting. For President of the United States, I will be voting for Tom Hoefling. His last name is spelled Hoefling. I will be voting for Tom Hoefling. And I will also be voting for the vice presidential candidate, Dr. Robert Ornelas. They will both be on the ballot here in California and other states. And if I were in another state, I would write in those names for president and vice president. Now, I know there's all kind of confusion about what can you do and what should you do in reference to write-ins. Well, bottom line is, folks, I have to answer to God, not the Democratic Party, not the Republican Party, not the voters' registration people, or anything else. I must answer to God. And I cannot, will not, absolutely vote for Romney or Obama. I will be voting for Tom Hoefling for president and Dr. Robert Ornelas as vice president. Now, on Saturday at 10 o'clock, if you would like to ask questions of the presidential candidate, Tom Hoefling, or the vice presidential candidate, Dr. Robert Ornelas, they will be on a special conference call line that they will be taking questions, and they'll do their best to answer with the leadership of the Holy Spirit. Now, if at 10 o'clock on Saturday you would like to join us, I'm going to go ahead and give the number out. You bad guys and so forth know that if you try to come on and take over, I can unplug you, so don't worry about that. But I do encourage you, if you'd like to be a part of the Q&A, the American Independent Party of California, the America's Party of the United States candidate, Tom Hoefling, and Robert Ornelas, if you'd like to ask them questions, you're welcome to call in and ask them questions. They will be on that conference call line at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. And Saturday, I believe, is the 31st, if I remember correctly. No, that will be the 1st, on the 1st, Saturday the 1st. Saturday the 1st at 10 o'clock. We will be live on the air. Now, if you want to join, you call this telephone number at 10 o'clock. It won't be open until then, but that telephone number is 712-432-1690. 712-432-1690. Call that number. It will ask you for your access code. Your access code for that number is 399-430#. 399-430#. And if you don't put the pound in, it won't work. So at 10 o'clock on September the 1st, just 2 months prior to the election, call in and ask your questions to Thomas Hoefling and Dr. Robert Ornelas, the presidential and vice presidential candidates for the American Independent Party of California and the America's Party of these United States. So that's on Saturday at 10 o'clock. Call that number, 712-432-1690. Put in your access code, 399-430#. Now, we've been hearing about the destructive mode that the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are in, both in Florida and in North Carolina. We have had reports from Florida, and we've given you those in the past. If any of you are listening and watching this show, if you would like to be our correspondent in Tampa, we will dub you right now the correspondent for the Wiley Drake Show. And you can go and tell them that you are a correspondent for the Wiley Drake Show on Ustream.tv, CrusadeRadio.com. They're welcome to call me to get it verified if you need to get a press credential. But if you would like to be our correspondent there in Tampa, we would love to have you come on the line with us. Tomorrow, which is Friday, we will be on the air at 9 a.m. California time. In Tampa, that will be 12 noon. And then, of course, we'll be on at 8 p.m. Tampa time tomorrow as well, just like we are right now at 9 minutes after 8 in Florida. And we do thank you for listening. All you Floridians, thank you for listening. If you want to call us, you can reach us on the 800 number, 1-800-839-3002. You can call us on the Crusade Radio number, 559-592-5961. Or you can call us on our Washington, D.C. number. The Washington, D.C. number is 202-747-4839. Now, we would encourage you to call us tomorrow at that 10 o'clock hour, and there's some other things going on tomorrow as well. Tomorrow afternoon, actually tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, that will be 11:30 a.m. there in Charlotte. There's going to be a press conference held worldwide from Charlotte at the DNC. It's going to be held physically and literally. If you'd like to go there, if you're in that area, you can go to 3rd Street side of the Marshall Park there in Charlotte, North Carolina. From 11:30 a.m., there's going to be a press conference, and that's on Friday, August the 31st. Now, we will carry that press conference. We will be in communication. We will have a correspondent on the ground there in Charlotte to give us a report. If you would like to listen to that, we will be live on the air on Ustream.tv. And at 9 o'clock, we will also be on CrusadeRadio.com. I don't know if we're going to be on the Crusade Radio at 8:30. I'll check with Mel and see if we can get on early. But at any rate, tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, there will be a press conference from Charlotte, North Carolina, broadcast live on the Wiley Drake Show. Now, that will be at 8:30 a.m. California time, 11:30 a.m. Charlotte, or as they say down there, Charlotte, North Carolina. But anyway, that'll be on tomorrow, and we encourage you to join it. We encourage you to listen. We encourage you to call in. We'll be giving out phone numbers. If you want to ask our correspondent a question, you're welcome to do so and come and be a part of it. So tomorrow morning, 11:30 a.m., you can go and be at the press conference at 3rd Street side of Marshall Park in Charlotte, North Carolina, or you can come to the Wiley Drake Show here at Ustream. That's the letter U, stream.tv, and you can be on with us at that time. Now, that's tomorrow morning, and we'll, of course, do our show during that time as well. Now, there's also going to be at 6:30 p.m., 6:30 p.m., there will be a prayer service and a laying of 3,300 flowers, August the 31st at 6:30 p.m. there in Charlotte at the DNC and at the Planned Parenthood. They will be laying roses and flowers. I don't know if they're roses or not, but they'll be laying 3,300 flowers there to remind and to be a public witness to Obama, the DNC, that we're saying, please end the violence on our babies. The 3,300 represent the babies that are being killed. And so we encourage you. Join us for the 11:30 time. Join us also on Saturday, but we encourage you to join us. All these events are prophetic public witness to President Obama and the DNC, asking them to please end the violence against our children. This will all be broadcast live on the Wiley Drake Show at Ustream.tv. And ladies and gentlemen, we're saying and agreeing with the other folks, there are several groups that are going to be responsible there. One is called Operation Save America. Operation Save America will be there. Operation Save America will be there. And we had today with us Dr. Pat McEwen. And maybe Dr. Pat McEwen is listening or would call us again today. Dr. Pat McEwen and Flip Benham are both with Operation Save America. And so that group will be recognized there. And they say in their press release, the DNC values do not reflect our values. That conference detail will be, of course, there on the 3rd Street side of Marshall Park. We will be carrying it here on Crusade Radio and on Ustream.tv. Pat McEwen will be there. Flip Benham will be there. In case you're remembering Flip Benham's name and wondering who he is, you have seen Flip on this television show and on our radio show many times. One of the times that you saw him on this show, you saw him performing a baptismal service on a woman that is very infamous. Her name is Norma McCorvey. In 1973, though, she was known as Roe of Roe v. Wade, the terrible, terrible decision by the Supreme Court to make it legal to brutally murder babies. Norma McCorvey was a Roe of Roe v. Wade. They kept her name hid for a long time, but later Norma became a Christian. She accepted Jesus Christ as her Lord and Savior and followed him in scriptural baptism. And so you've seen Flip, Benham on with us. Just what are the values of the DNC? On Friday, August the 31st, September the 2nd, 2012, we'll see. The DNC will be opened in Jummah prayer by Suraj Wahhaj and Grand Imam and unindicted co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade bombings. Waha served as a character witness for Omar Abdel Rahman, the blind sheik, in the trial that found him guilty of conspiring to overthrow the United States government. So Islam is now the religion of choice for the DNC, the Democratic National Convention. Of course, abortion on demand for any reason, at any time, at taxpayers' expense, is an absolute given at the DNC. No room for defiance. Now the DNC is going to redefine marriage. What does the God of the Bible know anyway? After years of lying to us, the DNC has decided to show its true colors. It indeed, the party of death. All who hate me love death, Proverbs 8:36 says. The DNC is tolerant of all religions except one, Christianity. Why is that? The DNC hates the God of the Bible. It hates the God of our pilgrim forefathers and our founding fathers. It hates the God, that is Jesus, who made America great and made her strong. It simply hates any judge but itself. And you can, of course, contact Dr. Pat McEwen at the Operation Save America. Now, members in Charlotte, members will be conducting a prayer service and lay 3,300 flowers in front of the Time Warner Arena on Friday, August the 31st, and you can join us for that if you would like, right here on the Wiley Drake Show. The 3,300 flowers represent the number of innocent babies that are aborted every day in America, and the number of women who are daily bruised and diminished through abortion. The prayer service and the laying on of flowers will be Friday, August the 31st at 6:30 p.m. and be carried here live on the Wiley Drake Show. The location of the event is the Time Warner Arena, Public Sidewalk, 333 East Trade Street, facing the epicenter. There will also be a news conference preceding the prayer and public witness. Members of America Defend Life will also be holding a demonstration and a prayer gathering in front of Planned Parenthood, and I even hate to use that name because they're not Planned Parenthood, they're Planned Death, but they're going to be holding a prayer vigil, an America Defend Life.
A caller?
All right, good afternoon, caller. Who's on the line with us? Hello, caller, are you there?
Hi, it's Bryce Griffin. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm sorry, who is this?
This is Bryce Griffin with America Defend Life.
Well, God bless you. We've been talking about you folks, and we're glad to have you on the air with us. We thank the Lord for you. Tell us what's going on, where you're calling from, and give us an update on what's happening.
Well, I'm calling from Charlotte, and like you said, we are planning peaceful, prayerful, pro-life witness around the city during the DNC, starting tomorrow night with our press conference and prayer service in front of the Time Warner Cable Arena, where we will place 3,300 flowers on the ground as a visual witness of the number of children killed by abortion every day in America.
You know, I've been doing this radio and television show now for more than 10 years, and every time I hear those numbers, I just cannot believe that in the United States of America we kill over 3,000 babies a day. I know it's true, but it's just absolutely, I just can't get my mind around that.
Unfortunately, it is our constitutional right, and, for the last 40 years now, so we definitely we're hoping that the nation will see the atrocity of abortion and that the numbers will hit home with everyone and that hearts will start to convert back towards the sanctity of life.
Well, we certainly agree with you and hope that that exactly is the thing that will be happening. Uh, so we thank the Lord for what you folks are going to be doing down there, and we praise God and want you to know we're praying with you and praying for you. And we'll be calling you tomorrow. It will be actually 3:30 here in California, but that will be 6:30 there, where American Defend Life will be doing their gathering and their prayer. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you cannot go there and be there in person, we will be broadcasting here, and we'll have a call on the line with us from there as well. Tell our listening audience, in case I think someone else just came on, tell our listening audience again your name, please, and where you're calling from.
Sure, my name is Bryce Griffin. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I am part of a grassroots pro-life organization called America Defend Life. We have several events planned in the coming days during the DNC. While America's eyes are on our city, we want to show them the importance of the sanctity of life through our peaceful, prayerful witness. We have a prayer vigil in front of Time Warner Cable Arena on Friday night. On Saturday morning, we'll have a prayer vigil in front of Planned Parenthood at 4822 Albemarle Road in Charlotte. And on Wednesday, September 5th, we will have a Civil Rights for Life march and rally in downtown Charlotte.
Thank you so much for what you're doing there, and that was going to be my next question, because my producer said I had all the dates down, but he said be sure and ask her about September the 5th because I didn't have that on my list. Now, tell us a little, I think all of us understand these prayer vigils and these prayer meetings and these demonstrations and the laying of the flowers, but what is this going to be now on September the 5th?
This is going to be a civil rights march for life modeled in the same fashion as the civil rights marches of the 1960s, where people would carry signs saying, "I am a man." We will have signs with images of people in different stages of life, from in the womb to, senior citizens, including handicapped people, and they will say, "I am a person." We want everyone to know that from fertilization until natural death, we need to protect life. So we will have a march through the streets of downtown Charlotte, and we have a rally at the intersection of Trade and Tryon, which is the busiest intersection in Charlotte. And we have Bobby Schindler, who is Harry Shivo's brother, coming to speak, as well as Reverend Shank from Faith in Action coming to speak.
Well, every time we go to Washington, we go by the office there at Faith in Action with Reverend Shank and those folk. We do a lot of prayer work in D.C. with them, and I want to just say to them, thank you for coming and thank you for inviting them. They're very instrumental in prayer and in this whole issue, and thank the Lord for them, and thank the Lord for your organization, AmericaDefendLife.com. Go to that website, ladies and gentlemen, and also put on your calendar that September the 5th. What are the times for that march? Do you know?
Yes, sir. Our march is going to start at 11:30. We're going to gather in the parking lot across from the Diocese of Charlotte Pastoral Center. And at 12 noon, we're going to begin our march. And the rally at the corner of Trade and Tryon Streets will go from 12:30 to 1:30. And we have buses available. If you just go to the website, AmericaDefendLife.com, you can find all of that information.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, AmericaDefendLife.com. And we thank the Lord for that.
Thank you so much for having me on.
And thank you for being on. And don't forget, make sure you email to me your phone number so I can reach you. And also, you might want to think about for the 5th, getting some other correspondents that have a cell phone, what we will do is we will open a prayer conference call line during those hours. Now you're going to meet at 11:30, so we'll open the prayer line at 11:30, and any of the marchers can call in on that prayer line. That will be open to anyone who has a cell phone. So you might tell your marchers as well as your prayer folk at these events that we will have the conference call prayer line number open on September the 5th. We'll open it up at 11:30 and keep it open until 1:30 or whenever you finish. And anyone in the march, they can call the number, and we'll be glad to give you that number, and they can call that number if they'd like to be on the line with us during that march.
That sounds great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bryce. God bless you. Let's continue to work together and keep up the good work.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a great night.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Bryce Griffin with an organization called America Defend Life. That's a great website. It's a great message. 3 words. America, that's me and you, folks. Defend life. You know, the documents of our country say that we have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Did you notice the very first one? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You cannot have liberty and the pursuit of happiness if you do not have life. In fact, all of this debating back and forth about when life begins and all that nonsense is really just that. You know, the Bible says that the prophet of old knew a child even before it was conceived. The prophet said, before you were in your mother's womb, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. I knew you. And the word I knew you there means I knew you by name. That person was in the mind of God even before the parts were knitted together inside the mother. And by the way, in reference to you feminazis, as Rush calls you, you say it's my body, I can do what I want to with it. And you have absolutely spoken correctly. It is your body, and you can do anything you want to with it. But you can't do anything to my body. You can do anything you want to with your body, but you cannot do anything with my body. You can do anything with your body, but you do not have a right to do anything to the body of a baby. I don't care how small it is, you do not have the right to hurt that baby. That baby is not, read my lips, that baby is not a part of your body. And that is a scientific fact, not a theological fact, but it is a theological fact, but it is a biological fact that what's inside you is not your body. It is connected to you via an umbilical cord. It is connected to you via a birth channel. It is connected to your body, but it is not your body. Science has proven time and time and time again that the fetus is totally brand new set of DNA, may have some DNA from the mother and the father, but it is totally new in that it is totally individual and it is not part of your body. So if you have a baby in your body, you do not have the right over that body. It would be just like me saying to you, sometimes I have people ride with me in my automobile, and as I've gotten a little bit older, my reaction time is not quite as fast as it used to be, and sometimes I will switch lanes, or something will happen a little different, and the person will get a little excited sitting next to me, and they'll say, "Watch out, Pastor. Be careful, Pastor." And I appreciate that admonition, because I do need to be careful. But it would be just like if you were to say that to me, "Be careful." It would be like me saying to you, "You're in my car. You're in my car, so you don't have a right." Well, yeah, you do. You have a right to warn me. You have a right to be safe in my car. Well, it's my car. I can do with what I want to with it. No, I can't drive it off the road and kill you. That would be illegal. That would bring the law against me. Well, it's my body. I can do with what I want to. People deal with the same subject in reference to suicide. If I want to jump off of a building and kill myself, that's my right. I can do that. But there have been cases where someone did that, and when they jumped off the building, their body hit somebody else's body and injured them or killed them. And there were legal ramifications because of it, because they didn't have a right to hit somebody else's body with their body. Now, it was an accident, but nonetheless, they were held accountable. Let me say to you, ladies and gentlemen, if a woman has a baby inside her body or on her body or near her body, she does not have a right to kill that baby, because it's not, read my lips, it is not a part of her body. It is not her body. It may have come from her body, but it's not her body. Let me see who this is. Good afternoon. This is Pastor Wiley Drake. Can we help you?
Hi, it's Sarah Sandy.
Sarah, this is Wiley Drake, and we're live on the Wiley Drake Show. How are you doing?
Oh, good. I've been listening to your show, and I just wanted to call in and say hi and say it was a very good show. And I'm going to be praying with you during the 11 to 1 o'clock hour when they do their march.
All right. Well, let me remind you, as well as everybody else, that on Friday, we will be doing a special live broadcast from down in Charlotte. It will be at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and it will be broadcast here on the Wiley Drake Show. And so any of you can join us by listening or watching this show. And we thank the Lord for that opportunity and appreciate the fact that you would like to join us. Sarah Sandy, ladies and gentlemen, a warrior in the CPS fight, a warrior in the fight for life, a warrior in the fight for right. Thank you, Sarah Sandy. God bless you, and thank you for calling.
Okay, I love you, Wiley. You have a good show. God bless you.
God bless you, my dear sister, and thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Sarah Sandy. Many of you have seen her on a video with me where we were protesting what the people were doing. And we thank the Lord for what he's doing. And we praise the Lord. Now, we are going to have other callers and other beepers, and we just have to ignore those. Let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, there are other numbers that you can call in on. If you'd like to call in, you can reach us at 559-592-5961. Or you can call us on our 800 number. Our 800 number is 1-800-839-3002. You can also call us on our Washington, D.C. Congressional Prayer Conference line. That Washington, D.C. Congressional Prayer Conference line is 202-747-4830. 639. And we would welcome you to be a part of the Wiley Drake Show. Now, we want to remind you that there are some very special events coming up. Tomorrow on August the 31st, a group of folk will be having a special prayer time and a special event down in Charlotte. Let me get this phone call. Good afternoon and welcome to the Wiley Drake Show. You're live on the air. Go right ahead. Tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
Hi, this is Myrna calling with Family Medical Center.
Myrna?
Urgent care here in Anaheim.
Yes. Where are you?
In Anaheim?
Yeah. And what's the group?
California Family Medical Center.
All right. What can we do for you?
I have a person here who needs to go into your homeless shelter that you have at the church.
All right. Well, you're welcome to do so. Right now, we're live on television, Myrna. You're making your TV debut today. And
Thank you.
we thank you so much for calling. And all you have to do is just send them over here. We'll be glad to take them in. We do have a shelter. They are welcome to come.
Okay, and what do you get to Cross Street?
Cross Streets?
Yes.
We're at 6801 Western Avenue. That's just a block north of Orangethorpe and Western.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Myrna. God bless you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was church fair in action. We believe in church fair. We don't believe in welfare. You don't have to be a terribly intelligent or terribly smart person to understand that welfare has miserably failed. Even those who are employed by the system, even politicians, voice their concern over the welfare system. Well, the welfare system has failed because it is against the Bible. It tells people you don't have to work. You can just draw your welfare, sit around and do nothing. The Bible says if you don't work, you don't eat. That's everybody, friends. Old people, young people. Everybody has to work in some way. That was a local hospital that just called me to say, we have someone we'd like to send over. And I said, send them on over. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Wiley Drake Show. You're live on the air around the world.
Hi, it's Sarah Sandy again, and I've been on the phone all day with all the politicians in Arizona. And you just mentioned welfare, and one of my biggest things I talked about today with them is welfare. And why is Arizona being a Republican state trying to force everybody on welfare? They have the highest federal funding for mental health, which pushes people onto welfare, and then the CPS, which is the parents on welfare. And I was really concerned today and confused why a Republican state would want so many people on welfare, because it is not good for anyone. I understand that there are emergency cases where people need it, but it is not something to live on. It is not something good. Healthy is when you go to work every day and you make a paycheck and you put into America to grow, and they are forcing people on welfare.
Well, Sandy, you're absolutely right. We have said before, even the most positive politician in reference to welfare, if questioned, will admit that welfare has not worked. People are still hungry. People are still on the street. We've got the highest number of welfare recipients we've ever had, and yet we still have the highest number of homeless people we've ever had. Welfare does not work. Read my lips, ladies and gentlemen. Welfare does not work. Church fair does work. We've been doing church fair here for more than 20 years at the First Southern Baptist Church in Buena Park. And church fair works. And that's what we need to do all across this country. I'll give you a perfect example. Everybody says, why don't those homeless people just get a job? Why do we have so many homeless people? Well, I can tell you how to end the homeless population immediately. All you do is have every church and every synagogue and every temple take on 3 homeless people. Just 3. Not 33 or 30 or 300, but just 3 people. Take on 3 people to this church, the synagogue near you. Let them take care, not give them stamps and money, but give them the basics of life. That is, a place to sleep, a place to go to the bathroom and take a shower, and a place to go to church, and a place to have fellowship, and to have food. Give them the basics of life, and then demand that they go out and find work, and we could end homelessness immediately if we would do that. But we're going to keep on cranking out the welfare, cranking it up higher and higher in Arizona, cranking it up higher and higher in California, and we're going to have more and more homeless people. We are helping the problem here in Buena Park, but we're not very popular in that because the government doesn't want us to do it, because it makes their system look bad. Sarah Sandy, thank you for being a warrior. Thank you for being on with us. God bless you and have a great day.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Sarah Sandy, and indeed a warrior in the battle against welfare, a warrior in the battle against government control, a warrior in the battle against child protective services. Ladies and gentlemen, even the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, the most liberal, the most overturned court in the land, said in its report that most welfare workers are ill-educated and ill-prepared to do the job that they're doing. That's what the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals said. In fact, the matter is, the Ninth Circuit even went further and said that because of the money that's involved, when children are taken away from a family, that there is indeed a financial incentive to keep the children away from their family. Now, folks, that's not a crazy preacher saying that. That's the Ninth Circuit Court of the United States Courts of Appeal, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals here in California, in their own writing, in their own decisions sent to the Supreme Court, that there was a financial incentive to keep the children away from the parents, not give them back. They also went on to say that the abuse that goes on by the Child Protective Service Centers is greater than the potential abuse that the child may have been taken out of. Now, folks, I didn't say that. I knew that, and I know that, but the Supreme Court, the Ninth Circuit Court of Supreme Appeals Court, said that it is worse for the child to be put in a system than it is for them to be in an abusive situation. And we've been saying that for years. The Ninth Circuit Court also said, and this is a legal ruling, not only in the Ninth Circuit, but all the way to SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States. If a welfare agent or a police officer or a school teacher says you must surrender your child to their indoctrination, you must surrender your child to them out of your home, it is illegal for them to do that unless they have a judicial warrant. If they do not have a warrant for your child, they cannot take your child. And I would encourage you to make sure that if they come to you and tell you that your child must be taken away. They must take your child for the safety of the child. Folks, that's illegal. That's as illegal as speeding on the freeway. It is absolutely illegal. And I'm going to read to you, I'm getting a card out. I'm going to read to you a card that I have. And I would encourage you, if you do not have legal insurance, you ought to get it. You ought to get what's called Legal Shield. You ought to get prepaid legal. Um, need to be a little further away, not so close. Thank you so much. All right, thank you. Now, I have in my hand a Legal Shield card, and here's what it says. My legal rights are protected. If it is your intention to question, detain, or arrest me, or if you intend to remove my children from my custody or serve me with a warrant, please allow me to call my attorney immediately. And the card says this person is a member of the Legal Shield program and has 24-hour telephone access to, indeed, his attorney. Now, I would encourage you to do that. If you do not have legal insurance, if you do not have legal insurance, I would encourage you to get in touch with me. I have the right and the authority to issue that to you if you'd like to have it. There is a cost for it, and it runs about $25 roughly a month. I pay it for myself, and I'm an agent for prepaid legal, and I'll be glad to sign you up. All you got to do is let me know, and we'll be glad to sign you up. For $25 a month, ladies and gentlemen, I have the peace of mind to know that if I get stopped for any reason, I can show my Legal Shield card and demand that they allow me to call my attorney. And when I did that with the Secret Service from Washington, D.C., they left me alone and never came back. Now, I would say this to you. Know your rights. Stand up for them. And by the way, there is an organization. If you are contacted by a member of the police department, a member of Child Protective Services, or anybody, the school or anybody, and they say they're going to take your children away, do not give them your children. Do not talk to them unless they have a warrant in their hand, a warrant that you can read. We recently had a family that demanded a warrant, and they gave them the warrant, and it was outdated. It was an old warrant, so it was no good. So, if you're contacted, I don't have the phone number in front of me, but I'm going to give you the name of the organization that you should call. It is in the 916 area, and I would encourage you to call Pacific Justice Institute. If you are contacted by school authorities, police authorities, or anyone else, please contact Pacific Justice Institute in Sacramento, California. They will represent you pro bono, which means free, and they will help you. So please call. Don't wait until they take your kid. Don't wait until you've got a case pending. Don't wait until you're in trouble. Call Pacific Justice Institute immediately if you're contacted. You can go online, Pacific Justice Institute. You can go online. A very fine attorney there runs that place called Brad Dacus. Brad does a great job, has hundreds and thousands of attorneys around the nation to help you in the event you're contacted by someone about your children. You need legal help, ladies and gentlemen, and you can get it at the Pacific Justice Institute. Now, into that commercial. It's in the 916 area, and I don't remember the phone number, but you can get it simply by going online to Pacific Justice Institute. And in fact, I think what I'll do is see if I can just get that real quickly for you and get that number for you. I believe it's PacificJusticeInstitute.com. It may be maybe .org. Let me try that again. www.PacificJustice PacificJusticeInstitute.org. Let's try that and see if that works. Well, I'm not getting it for some strange, crazy reason. PACIFIC. I should have this number in front of me at all times, and I don't have. Pacific Justice Institute is the name of the organization, and I'm going to get you a number here in just a minute. Let's see. Pacific Justice Institute, and I'm hoping to get you a telephone number here in just a moment, but I'm not being successful. Go to pacificjustice.org, pacificjustice.org, and you'll see there Brad Dacus, and you can see him, and we're going to see contact. All right, here we go, folks. Here's the telephone number. The Pacific Justice Institute telephone number is 916-857-6900. 916. I'm going to write that down because I'm going to put it on my desk here so I can give it to you later. 916-857-6900. All right, 916-857-6900. That's the Pacific Justice Institute, and they will call you back. Call them up and tell them if you're contacted by a school official, by the police, by the welfare, by Child Protective Services or Family Services, any of those people that contact you, please call Pacific Justice Institute and let them know that you've been contacted. Now, don't wait until they come and get your kids. Don't wait until it's too late, because if you wait till it's too late, then it is too late, because it is so involved if they've already got your children. But do not let them in your home. Do not let them in your home. I will not allow anyone in my home without a warrant. Late in the night, I got a knock on my front door. Early this morning, really. I got a knock on the front door, and it was two police officers from Buena Park, California. I went to the door, and I opened the door, gun in hand, in a small crack, and said, "Can I help you?" Those police officers said, "Are you Wiley Drake?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And they said, "Do you work for a hotel?" And I said, "No, I do not." And then I realized, because I was half asleep, that my son does work for a hotel. One of his employees had been locked out. They locked themselves out. And the police were sent over to his house to let him know, "Your employee's locked out." Unfortunately, my son is a junior. And unfortunately, when the police got the address, they got my address. But I would not have let them in the door. And in fact, I didn't mean to be rude, and in fact, I told them, "I'm sorry, guys, but I can't let you in." They said, "Oh, that's okay." They were good policemen, and they knew they had no right. They were asking. They were being helpful. And but sometimes these police, these welfare workers, social workers, school workers will say, "We've got to take your kids away." And they come and they take your kids away. And they say, "We've heard somebody accused you." See, ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. It is supposed to be Child Protective Services. They're supposed to protect the child. Taking that child away from you is not protecting it. That's not child protection. That's child kidnapping. We have a case here in Orange County, California, in Santa Ana courts. It went all the way through the local courts, all the way through the Ninth Circuit, all the way up to the Supreme Court. And here's what happened. A school official and welfare workers decided they were going to interview a little girl, a child that had been, someone said, she was being abused. Well, that was a false accusation. But even if it were accurate, they still did not have the right to interview that child without parental consent. They interviewed that child and they traumatized that child, and the family got very angry over that and filed suit, and it went all the way through the court system to the United States Supreme Court. The United States Supreme Court finally ruled that in order to take a child away, they must have a warrant, a judiciary warrant. It was proven in court they did not have a warrant. Oh, they said they had a good reason. They had heard that the child was being abused, but they did not have a warrant, and the courts ruled in the favor of the family. And the finality of it was a penalty to the county of Orange to the tune of about $10 million. Now you say, well, you shouldn't be trying to get money. Well, of course you should. Because you see, the Board of Supervisors, in fact, I recommended to the family that they tell the Board of Supervisors they would settle for $500,000. And the family did offer that to the Board of Supervisors, and the Board of Supervisors turned it down. And it went all the way to the Supreme Court. They could have gotten away with $500,000, but now they're paying $10 million. Ladies and gentlemen, there is some justice in our system still left. Do not let anyone come in your home without a proper dated, proper instructed warrant from a judiciary. That's from a judge. You must be able to read the judge's name, you must be able to read the date, and you must be able to read the cause of the warrant. If you cannot read those, then you refuse it, slam the door in their face, and shoot them if they come in the door, if they break your door down. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time we stood up. You come to my house without a warrant, you're not getting in. You come to my house with a warrant that you say is a warrant, and I see it, and I can't read it, or it's not dated, it's not signed, it's not a proper warrant, you're not coming in my house. And if you do, my security force will stop you. My security force is Smith & Wesson and Browning. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Wiley Drake Show. If you'd like to get in touch with me, the CPS Child Protective Services hotline is 714-865-8132. That is my cell phone. You have an emergency, you call me. I don't care what it's about. It doesn't have to be about Child Protective Services. I have people call me all hours of the night and say, is this a CPS hotline? I say, yes, it is. I have people call me up and say, is this the prayer line where I can get prayer? I say, yes, it is. Ladies and gentlemen, you can call me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 714-865-8132. Now, it is time for us to go off the line. We're going to go off on Crusade Radio because my buddy is going to go on, and so Crusade Radio is off, and we'll be going off here in just a moment. Now, remember, tomorrow morning, we'll be back. We'll be back here at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And by the way, at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, we'll be doing a special broadcast. And at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, we'll be doing a special live broadcast. And at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. And by the way, come on the line with us on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific Coast Time. Call 712-432-1690. Put in your access code 399-430-pound and talk to our next president of the United States, Tom Hoefling, or the next vice president, Dr. Robert Ornelas. We'll be on the air with the American Independent Party of California, 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, California time. God bless you and have a great day. And we're going to be saying good night. Remember, do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with God.